Welcome to Wetpixel Live. My name's Adam Hanlon. I'm the editor of Wetpixel, and I'm very privileged to be joined today by my friend Alex Mustard. Morning, Alex.
Hey, Adam. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Unfortunately, it's a very sad day, and I think many people in the Wetpixel community will be aware of this, but a very talented underwater photographer and a good friend of Wetpixel's and many of the people in the Wetpixel community sadly died in a diving accident off Sicily this weekend. David Salvatori was a very accomplished underwater photographer, well known for producing beautiful images. And he's someone who I think our community will really miss, and it's a very, very sad day, really.
Yeah, and really, I mean, it's shocking, and I mean, it's just really sad. I mean, I saw him virtually recently when you and him were both presenting at a BSUT, the British Society of Underwater Photographers meeting.
Yep.
Just and he was so full of energy, as he always is. So and he was I find it a really sad subject because he was so full of life. I think, in addition to being a fantastic photographer, I think he'll always be remembered by our community by being, really one of the good guys. He was very well known for his generosity in helping others. He was very well known in that he was, hugely motivated in his photography to promote the protection of the oceans, and was someone that went about his photography in that vein, and as a result was thought of very highly and very fondly by almost everyone. And he was a very fit man. He not the sort of person you would ever expect to be ill or anything like that. He was a very keen long distance runner, ran marathons, things like that. And just whenever you saw him so full of life and happiness
and plans and projects, whenever you met him, he had a plan, he had a project, he was going somewhere to do this, to do that, and that, I think, that's some ways that's almost the sadness is it was always great when you bumped into him, and often, as is the case now, it's online or virtually, whatever, and he'd come up with these plans that he had, and it's almost a double whammy to realise that a lot of those plans are never going to be realised. It's a very sad thing.
Yeah, and the other thing about David, he was always, with his partner Maria Christina, who was who is a fabulous cook, and it was always great to bump into them because she'd always have cooked up some ridiculously, unbelievably tasty Roman dish or something, and and I just feel heartbroken for her as well because that was certainly from from the outside just seemed just a wonderful partnership. She must be I just feel so sorry, and it's really 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 tough on her.
I was very honoured he asked me to write the foreword of his most recent book, and I thought a lot of it relates to the book itself, so possibly, but one paragraph that I wrote was, David Salvatori has been producing beautiful and captivating imagery for many years. When talking about his creative process, he describes how he feels that he becomes a part of the oceans when he's underwater. This ephemeral and momentary connection allows him to communicate to those viewing his image both about himself and his presence within the aquatic environment. His success as a communicator is reflected in his repeating successes in significant global photography competitions, and perhaps more pertinently his ability to illustrate the crucial need to protect the marine environment to the public at large. I think that was one of the things that you touched on it briefly earlier.
Yeah, beautifully said, Adam.
And he was very much, his goal was, to take the underwater to the people that can't go there or don't go there possibly. And I think he was immensely successful at that. And a lot of, I know he was very involved with the UN World Oceans Day initiative, and in fact we co-judged that, I think, a few years ago, and various other projects like that. And I think that was part of this process of kind of trying to show the oceans to people in their best light, so that people would be passionate about protection. And I think that's I think one of the things that I hope is that obviously those of you who possibly didn't know him or go over to his website, have a look on his website.
He'd recently redone it. Actually, I remember him being very excited online. Just a few weeks ago, talking about how he'd finally got it all sorted out, and because many of us, struggle with
Yeah.
keeping websites anything like up to date. And so oh gosh, it's I think I'd just also like to mention that he was very much loved, respected, and loved, but really passionately loved by the Italian underwater photography community, and I think all of them are feeling it really raw at the moment. That they, although they, often don't gather as regularly as some countries, they when they do gather, they really gather and really enjoy socializing. Particularly at the big shows and things in Italy and other events. And I know that it's a very close community. I think there's lots of people I know, and just the shock of it as well. Just I mean the sad, I I remember his last social media post. There's a picture of them about to load the car up, and he was excited about going diving, and just full of enthusiasm. But it's just so very shocking, very sad. And I'm sorry, I'm struggling a bit for words on.
Yeah. We I think maybe a sort of possibly a comment to his popularity is the outpouring of support and sadness that's come on social media. It's pros and cons, but there's some wonderful comments on. And Eco Jones from Canada says truly a hero in my eyes and one of my first mentors, a beautiful human being. And then I'm scrolling here. Michael May says that David was a beautiful person. This is just horrible. I mean, I think that's quite a common kind of thread. Alison Vitsky says, as many others said, David was a spectacularly talented shooter. Perhaps more rare was his delighted enthusiasm for other shooters' work. He always had such an open admiration for others. He leaves a hole in our community, deepest sadness and condolences. I think that's a very good point. He was very. I didn't know him well enough, to be honest, to say he wore his heart in his sleeve, but certainly photographically he did. If he liked something, he told you. There was no ego involved, and that was nice. Always nice to hear that.
And just it's the fact, those tributes, the fact that everyone, as well as mentioning his skill as a photographer, is always going out of their way to talk about how good a person he was too. And I think that, you can't ask for much more from life, that everyone has that impression of you.
Absolutely. So I think, there's lots of kind of condolences and going on social media, but I think probably the hopefully one of the ways to probably pay your respects is to go and visit his work, go online. At David Salvatori's website. I'm sure if you Google David Salvatori underwater, I should have done a bit more research and dug it up. And maybe Alex is doing that now.
Yeah, that's what we're just going to get the website address.
But equally, I can put the link in the show notes. Go have a look. His book is beautiful. I have a copy of it. It's very beautiful. So buy the book and celebrate his life through his images, which is, I think, probably a good way of
and they will. I think you said in the tribute on Wetpixel, he will live on through the work that he has done, and I think that's something that people will really, really be able to enjoy over a long period.
Yep. So thanks, Alex. Sad day, but. And thank you to all for watching. Obviously, feel free to add any comments or tributes in the comment section below. And thank you for watching. And, Godspeed, David Salvatori.